G'day, Angel Mahar here. Are you somebody who's been in a relationship with somebody with borderline personality or narcissistic personality disorder, and you're now on the other side of that? You worked through a lot of healing and recovery, and you're now thinking, and you weren't, I'm going to leave this to people dating, who were dating people, okay? And then maybe had a relationship, but you didn't get married, have kids. It doesn't really matter, but keeping it within the dating realm. So now you're on the other side of things and you're starting to feel better. And for people that I work with, I usually recommend, people shouldn't really date and they should be focused on their own healing and recovery for, a year to a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. It's different for everybody. But so now you're somebody who's a year and a half or 2 years out, or maybe it's sooner. But you're like ready, you're dating again. You would like to meet somebody else, and you really kind of healed and recovered from that person with BP or that narcissist, or you feel like you're in a much better space. Well, here's a question. So when you're dating someone, here's a question for you to think about, and then I have a question I'm responding to. Have you ever been out on sympathy dates? Like, have you gone out with people because, you're just maybe still having a little codependency, right? And you think they're really nice or whatever, or you're not sure, maybe you've had a couple dates with a person or several different people at different times, and you're like, you kind of go the extra 2-3 dates beyond 2 or 3 dates, kind of because sympathy, or empathy, or you're feeling bad for this person, but you're getting a lot of different people if you're dating different people, of course. So you're back in the dating game, so to speak. And you're out there, and you're online, and here's the question that I'm responding to here that somebody asked me in email today. How do you deal with when you see the red flags? So after you've been with somebody with BPD, NPD, done some healing, may still have some codependency, etc., but you're moving forward in your life, you're dating again, which shouldn't happen too quickly. How do you first recognize those red flags? And I'll have more videos coming on things like what are the red flags, and just some, I'm going to be doing one about narcissistic personality disorder people soon too, for a reason, and some various different things. So the question, is, so you're out there dating. How do you recognize, how do you recognize? Let's say you recognize red flags. You've seen 2, 3, 4, 5 red flags, and you've dated a person, or maybe you've dated 4 or 5 different people over the course of a few months for 2 or 3 or 4 dates each, and you're seeing all these red flags, and you're like, I can't believe this. Like, is there anybody, quote, normal, unquote, out here? Or is there anybody not cluster B? Or is anybody just not going to throw up all these red flags? What do you do when you see the red flags, and then you don't want to go forward anymore, and you don't want to date that person anymore? And this is where people who've done a lot of healing and recovery from past relationships or dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, speaking mostly specifically here too, even if you're in a relationship for a couple years or something, but it doesn't matter. Point being, so you've seen the red flags. You're like, wow, this feels familiar. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel healthy. This doesn't feel positive. I don't really want to see this person anymore. Well, so the question within the question revolves to this question. Should I tell him or her that they're like, perhaps I think they're borderline, or they're a narcissist, or they're just like psycho, or they're just like really unhealthy and like they should get some help? Should I tell them that? Or how do I not have, too much empathy or sympathy and not know some people are struggling with how to say no thank you to another date, or how to just sort of move on. And is it okay to just move on? So you've seen the red flags. You've been dating someone, maybe it's 2 or 3 dates, maybe it's 6 or 7, but you've seen the red flags now. What do? Well, you observe the red flags. You follow your gut instinct. You listen to your head, not your heart. Check your codependency, where you at, really critically think about this. And then when you've established that, these are really red flags and I don't want to go ahead, do you tell them what you think? that is wrong with them, because you're seeing the red flags, and red flags can indicate lots of things, by the way. They could indicate borderline tendencies, some narcissistic traits, but not maybe borderline personality, not maybe narcissistic personality. Could be something else. Could just be somebody with rampant, really unhealthy, and high levels of codependency even. But these red flags. So do you tell them, or do you just say that, hey, it was, if you have to answer, or do you just go no contact and move on? Well, you can make a choice here, right? You can either go no contact and move on, or you can say to a person, well, hey, it was whatever you would come up with, right? Really nice, spending some time with you, enjoyed the dinners, the movies, the whatever, or just a chat online, whatever it is. But I don't think we're very compatible, and I wish you all the best, right? Or something to that effect. Or if it's in person, like whether it's in person or it's online, my response to this question is no, you don't tell them. You don't tell them. You tell them maybe like that you really enjoyed their company, even if you didn't. You say something positive, and then you just excuse yourself, right? You say whatever you need to say in the way you would say it. But not right now. It was lovely getting to know you a bit, and I wish you all the best. Or I don't think we're compatible. Depends how long you've dated, how much you think you need to say. Some people, the other person may not contact you again, you move on. Or if you move on and then they contact you 3-4 weeks later, a couple months later, hey, I thought I was going to hear from you. You can either ignore that, carry on, or you can say, well, hey, sorry about that, didn't realize that, think about it, write a few things down, and then you might respond with, well, it was really nice to hang out with you and whatever, but I'm moving on, or I met someone else, or however you would phrase it. But the key answer to this question is no, you don't tell them what's wrong with them, because that would be a codependent thing to do. It's you holding on to feeling bad about that they're going to feel bad and taking responsibility for their feelings again. So you don't want to tell somebody that you're dating or getting to know that you're seeing the red flags, or even if it's a friend, you make a new friend and you see these red flags. No, don't tell them what you think is wrong with them, because it's not your place, it's not your responsibility. You need to take care of yourself. So you're going to end contact, you're going to say see you around, or whatever, if it's a friend, or whatever you're going to say to just move on, or you're going to just move on. So the answer to the question, should I tell him or her that I think they have BPD or they're a narcissist, I've seen all these red flags, or even like, hey, they just got rampant, out of control codependency, like so, because there can be other reasons why people are unhealthy, and you're going to see red flags. So rather than try to be an amateur diagnostician, right? Point the finger at everybody, oh, borderline narcissist, borderline, just pay attention to the red flags you have observed. Pay attention to how you feel. And make your choice based on that. Well, I don't want to know this person any better. There's enough red flags already. I want to move on. And then just not to belabor this and make it too long. What time am I at here? Okay. It's really important to know then that you need to develop assertion skills in your recovery process from codependency and working that through, and when you've been in a cluster B relationship prior of any type, sort, whatever the case. If you're not ready to assert yourself, or an assertion doesn't mean being harsh or anything, but if you're still holding on to other people's feelings, and you're worried about what they're going to feel or what they're going to think about when you say, hey, it's been nice, but, I don't think we're compatible. I wish you all the best. I hope you find what you're looking for, etc., etc. If even you say that much, whatever you do, don't tell them what you think is wrong with them, because to do so is codependent, is holding someone's feelings, worrying about how they're going to think about you. So if you're still there, if that's what you're experiencing, you might want to back up on the dating a little bit, do a little bit more healing and recovery work, especially around codependency, because you need to be able to make your choice, take action on your choice, and express your choice if need be. And do that responsibly, nicely, kindly, not telling them what you think is wrong with them, but also in a way where you're not worried about their feelings, what they're going to think about you, and you're not holding their feelings. So that you can really say something shorter than what I've suggested here a couple times. But you could just really say, hey, it was, even if it's not totally the truth, you want to just be kind and polite and move on. It was really nice getting to know you. I just don't think we're compatible, or I'm not ready to get serious with anybody. Anything like that you'd want to say. So I wish you all the best. Don't tell them what you think is wrong with them. And if you have that inclination to want to know what's wrong with them, then you might not be ready to be dating just yet. So think about that. I hope that was helpful. Take care.